Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring the chosen one, Klassic Liu Kang. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not familiar with the matrix I'm using in order to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let us put Klassic Liu Kang to the test. Klassic Liu Kang guys was released on the 24th of April 2017 as a diamond character. In other words, he was never part of the original store and you could always get him out of packs. So let's find out why. His attack is 60,858, which ranks 9th in the game. The hit points, they are 119,232 and they rank 11th in MK Mobile. The toughness is 45,360, the 17th highest in the game, and the recovery is really low. It is 39,690, which ranks 24th. However, as we well know, recovery is close to useless anyways. And the power generation of Klassic Liu Kang guys is 130%, which is awesome. So for his stats, he is going to get 23.5 out of 28 possible points. Special one of Klassic Liu Kang guys is called Shaolin Strikes, and here it is what you need to know about it. First, it can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has fire as buff actually, because Liu Kang doesn't set the enemy on fire, instead he sets himself on fire and thus he is healing. So I was very hesitant on how many points I should allocate here, but at the end of the day I decided that it is as good as vampirism in my eyes, so I decided to give him 2.4 out of 4 possible points. In addition, the special attack cannot be cast from distance, you have to be careful. It is lethal, it consists of 5 mini attacks and it has the bubbles as minigame. Long story short, most of the time you're not going to use a Klassic Liu Kang special 1. It is not terrible, but his special 2 is much better. And one more thing about Klassic Liu Kang special 1 guys, you can actually use the fact that it takes a lot of time to execute in order to finish off opponents in the middle of their revenants. So in other words, by the time special 1 of Liu Kang is over, the revenant of the enemy will be over as well and you can finish him off. And one more thing, you can take advantage of the fact that special 1 of Liu Kang is followed by an animation in order to avoid annoying tagging effects, such as for example Classic Raiden tagging attack. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of the ability is 20,083, which ranks 14th in the game, and the maximum damage is 40,166, which is the 11th highest in MK Mobile. Once again, the special attack can be completely blocked by the opponent, it has fire as self-heal, it cannot be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of 5 mini attacks and it has the bubbles as mini game. So for his special 1, Shaolin Strikes, Klassic Liu Kang is going to get only 7.5 out of 13 possible points. Special 2 of Klassic Liu Kang guys is called Soul of the Dragon and it is one of the best special attacks in the game. It is absolutely awesome. It consists actually of 2 forms, the regular form or the human form and the dragon form. By the way, if you want to use the dragon form, you have to be aware that Klassic Liu Kang should be on fire first. This is the way that you can unlock it in the first place. Anyways, both of the variation guys, both of them can be blocked by the enemy, you have to keep that in mind. However, they have different debuffs. The human form has stun, while the dragon form has mass fire. And when I say mass fire, I mean that the fire is applied to every single enemy of the opposing team, which is absolutely amazing, especially now when fire can also stop regeneration. In addition, the special attack in its both forms can be cast from distance and it is lethal. However, there's a difference between the mini hits. The human form consists of only 1 mini hit, which is incredibly good, and the dragon form consists of 8 mini attacks. And when it comes to the mini games guys, the human form has the multi-tap circle and the dragon form doesn't even require a minigame, which is absolutely awesome. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of the ability is 50,207, which is the 11th highest in the game, and the maximum damage is 100,415, the 8th highest in MK Mobile. Once again, the special attack is unblockable, it has stun or mass fire depending on the variation, it can be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of 1 or 8 mini hits depending on the variation, and it has the multi-tap circle or nothing when it comes to the mini game. So for his special 2, Klassic Liu Kang is going to get 16.3 out of 19 possible points. Okay guys, we got to the X-Ray, which is code for the Shaolin, and it looks exactly the same like the other 2 Liu Kangs in the game. There is nothing special. The only dilemma here is whether it can be cast from distance. You know, if you've seen my reviews of Circle of Shadow Liu Kang or Flaming Fist Liu Kang, you will know the answer, and it is probably. However, in Klassic Liu Kang's case, guys, I will give some points here because the X-Ray will connect after both of his combo enders, which is most of the cases what you need. When it comes to damage, the damage of the X-Ray is 122,507, which is the 13th highest in the game. Once again, the special attack has fire as debuff and it can be cast from distance after his combo enders. If you are trying it on long range, it will always fail. So for his X-Ray, Klassic Liu Kang is going to get 2.7 out of 4 possible points, and the total amount of points he gets for his special attacks adds up to 26.5 out of 36 possible. The basic attacks of Klassic Liu Kang, guys, are pretty damn awesome. I'm not going to lie. Thing is, while it is true that he really shines with block breaking gear, or in other words, he's still good but not great without block breaking gear, it is also true that both of his special attacks, Special 1 and Special 2, follow perfectly after his combo enders. And in general, this character is so fast that he can spam Special 2 all day long as he has gear that reduces the power cost of Special 2. It is just insane. He can lock people in stun forever, and this is thanks to his amazing power generation and his amazing basic attacks. Now, it is true that he doesn't push opponents back if they're blocking, and this is the main reason why he requires block breaking gear, but still he can be quite decent without it because his punching speed is pretty insane, and of course we shouldn't forget that his recovery speed is also pretty great. All this perfectly compensates for the fact that he doesn't push opponents back if they're blocking. In general, this character feels perfect every time when I play Klassic Liu Kang. It is just amazing, his basic attacks are great, everything about this character is great. So he's going to get a solid 9 out of 10 for his basic attacks. Oh lord, we got to the passive. It is called Spirit of the Dragon, and here it is what it does. Damage over time effects give a high critical attack boost. Fire effects heal. Power drain effects take no power and give high damage boost to his basic attacks. Teammates cause cripple on tag in. Now, where do we begin? It is important really, because in my eyes this is by far the best passive in Mortal Kombat Mobile, and no other passive comes even close to this one. Even if I dissect this passive into two parts, the part where he is immune to negative effects and the part where he causes cripple on tagging, I would rate them both with 20 points. So how many points should I give this passive if they are both in the same place? It's amazing. Now let's take a minute and compare Klassic Liu Kang's passive to another amazing passive, Strike Force Scorpion's passive. Remember, I actually reviewed this guy last week and I mentioned how incredibly good this passive is and how versatile Strike Force Scorpion is. However, Klassic Liu Kang's passive is simply superior, and here it is why. There are two main reasons. The first reason is that if Strike Force Scorpion dies, it is game over, he's dead, you cannot use his passive. If Classic Liu Kang dies, then no, you can still use his passive. Incredible, right? And second reason, you don't have to die if you have Classic Liu Kang in your team. All you have to do is keep tagging in and out, tagging in and out. The enemies will be all the time crippled, they cannot really damage you, so you don't have to die in the first place. This is how incredibly strong this passive is. In fact, it is so good that I truly believe that it's even overpowered, and there are some aspects of it that has to be nerfed. For example, the enemy Tremor pulls the weakest link of your team, right? But guess what? He's going to get crippled in the process. I mean, come on, this is simply unfair. It has to be fixed. And on top of that, this passive is great everywhere. It is great at the towers, Link Way Tower, Black Dragon Tower, it doesn't matter. It is great against bosses, it is great against difficult matches in the towers, it is great in battle mode, in faction wars, everywhere, and it is great even if Liu Kang is level 1 Fusion 0, and even if he stays tags out for the entire length of the battle. In addition, let me give you a different illustration of what I mean and how great this passive is. You know Black Dragon Tremor, right? I mean, he's the latest diamond introduced to the game and he's a Black Dragon member, that means he should be absolutely amazing in the Black Dragon team. Okay, now take him out of a Black Dragon team and put Classic Liu Kang. What happens? You have a stronger team. That happens. Well, this speaks for itself, guys. You can take a character that is designed to shine in a specific team, take him out of the equation, put Liu Kang in his place, and the team will be as strong, if not even stronger. And once again, I cannot think even of one other passive that comes close. Remember guys, when I was creating the matrix, I told you that I am giving just 20 points for passives because I want the final verdict of the character to be as unbiased as possible. However, here I feel that it will be absolutely unfair to give just 20 points for Classic Liu Kang's passive because it is simply stunningly good. There is nobody else, once again, that comes close. So at the end of the day, I decided to give this amazing passive the amazing 30 out of 20 possible points. I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that it deserves 30 points because there is nobody else that can match it. Classic Liu Kang is just a martial artist, so he gets 1 point for classes and 0 points for tagging attack. Okay guys, we got to the final verdict, the most important part of the video. Now, how good Classic Liu Kang really is? The answer is pretty simple. He has pretty nice stats, not the best, but pretty nice. He also has amazing special attack, with his special 2 being one of the best in MK Mobile. In addition, his basic attacks are close to perfect and his passive is totally perfect. So what else can I say about this character? I really believe that Classic Liu Kang is by far the best character in MK Mobile and nobody comes even close, even MK11 Scorpion. Some of you may say that MK11 Scorpion is better. Now I give you that guys, MK11 Scorpion is slightly better fighter, and the reason why I'm saying that he's slightly better fighter is because he relies on his special 1. He wants to chain his special 1 and he does that flawlessly as long as you give him block breaking gear. Now obviously Classic Liu Kang cannot really spam his special 1 because it's not really the best special attack in the game. However, he can do the same using certain gear and using his special 2. Trust me, he can be amazingly good fighter if he has the correct gear. And the gear involves an equipment that reduces the power cost of special 2. Thus, he can chain special 2s forever and he can stun lock the enemy forever. So, what I'm saying is, MK11 Scorpion is the best fighter in the game. Classic Liu Kang comes extremely close. Let's compare the other aspect of the game, how good they are against not only enemies in faction wars but against bosses. Now, I have to admit that Classic Liu Kang is better than MK11 Scorpion against bosses. And that's a fact. Really, he's just better. Another thing, how good is MK11 Scorpion against difficult opponents? For example, Link Way Tower 149, we saw guys with Fusion 1 Scorpion clearing it. And that's really amazing achievement. Classic Liu Kang cannot do that at Fusion 1, however he can provide amazing support so that you can finish it with weaker characters. So let's say that MK11 Scorpion again has a slight edge because when it comes to fighting at lower fusion, he might be better than Classic Liu Kang. However, again, Classic Liu Kang comes close. And when it comes to the final thing that we have to review, how good MK11 Scorpion is in terms of supporting and how good Classic Liu Kang is in terms of supporting, there is absolutely no comparison. Classic Liu Kang wins by far. MK11 Scorpion is not even one of the top 20 best supports in the game. All he does passively, I'm saying passively, is he sets the enemies on fire in the beginning of the game, and that's it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that's pretty nice, but it cannot be compared to the supportive power you get if you have Classic Liu Kang in your team. And another thing, you can say, yeah, but MK11 Scorpion can cause fire again on tag in every time when he tags in, so that you can clear very difficult matches by only tag him in and out all the time. Yes, that's true, but if you give the correct equipment to Liu Kang, he can do the same. Remember, he has special 2 in his dragon form, he can set the entire enemy team on fire. So again, Classic Liu Kang comes close, but in terms of supporting power, MK11 Scorpion is not a match, I'm sorry. MK11 Scorpion is a decent support only in an MK11 team, and that's it. And even there, Classic Liu Kang outperforms him, because let's face it, I would always take crippling on tagging compared to 25% little blow chance on basic attacks. And I am sure, guys, that some of you say that I'm really biased, I'm giving way too many points to Classic Liu Kang, but guys, you cannot be further away from the truth. To be honest, Liu Kang in general is not one of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat. In fact, I plainly dislike him. He's just too perfect in the storyline. He's the chosen one. I mean, all storylines should have somebody who has to be the chosen one, right? Anyways, what I'm saying is that I really don't like Liu Kang in general. And in fact, when Liu Kang was released, there was the so-called Holy Trinity of great characters named K-Mobile, Ravenous Melina, Classic Raiden, and Liu Kang. Some guys were claiming that Liu Kang is the best, other guys were claiming that Melina is the best, and so on and so on. And I was from the group that was claiming that Melina was the best. However, with time, I have come to realize my mistake. I was wrong, I was plainly wrong, because looking at it now, Liu Kang is just the perfect character. He has no drawbacks. Probably his only drawback is that he doesn't have tag in attack, even though he has something like a tag out attack, but it doesn't count. His next weakness is he's just martial artist, so he's not a dual class character, but if he was a dual class character, I believe he would have been extremely overpowered, even more overpowered than he currently is. And his last drawback is that both of his special attacks can be blocked, and that's it. He doesn't have any other weakness. He's just perfect. So, with my 5 subjective points, he's going to score 95 points sharp, and this means, guys, that we have a new champion. Black Dragon's Cabal reign was really short, unfortunately for him. Final verdict, Classic Liu Kang, perfect character. Okay guys, it is time for the question, whether Classic Liu Kang is a good opener, and the answer is pretty simple. Of course he is. He is in fact one of the best openers in the game. All he needs is some good teammates so that he can eventually start with more than 1 bar of power, and of course he needs the Ice Bomb. If you have the Ice Bomb, Classic Liu Kang will be more or less the perfect opener in the game. However, if you have some other character that can be better at this spot, for example, let us say Circle Shadow Liu Kang, I wouldn't say that Circle Shadow Liu Kang is that much of a better opener, but if you don't use him as an opener, his passive will be lost. I mean, half of his passive will be lost. So yeah, what I'm saying is that Classic Liu Kang can be a good opener, but if you want to use him in any other spot in your team, that would be perfectly fine as well. When it comes to the characters that counter Classic Liu Kang, to be honest, I cannot think of any. Probably only characters with Frostbite will be difficult for Classic Liu Kang, because Classic Liu Kang isn't immune to Frostbite, and actually Frostbite power drains him, and basically this is the only way that he can be power drained. So yeah, I would say that characters with Frostbite can be difficult for him. And when it comes to characters that he counters, I would say that he is good against almost any character in the game, but he particularly counters MK11 Scorpion, because every time when Scorpion tags in, and in the beginning of the game, Liu Kang is going to get healed. By the way, you know that Classic Liu Kang, guys, doesn't heal on Dark Magic, which is unfortunate, but for example, in Battle 199 Black Dragon Tower, there is a Dark Magic, but there is also MK11 Scorpion, so your Classic Liu Kang won't be losing health. You can use Classic Liu Kang in Battle 199, even though he is not an Outworld, and he'll be perfectly fine. Another character that he counters heavily is Aftershock Tremor, because Tremor, every time when he uses his passive, he's going to get crippled, and this is really unfortunate for him. I'm not quite sure whether this is the case for Classic Scorpion. If you have tested it, guys, please let me know. And of course, I don't think it's necessary to say that Classic Liu Kang excels against characters with power drain, for example, all Johnny Cages, Classic Raiden, or all characters who can power drain. Okay guys, we got to the gear. Now, Classic Liu Kang is such a great character that really the gear most of the cases doesn't matter. I mean, if you feel confident playing him without block breaking gear, you can be perfectly fine without it. But if you want to play with block breaking gear, that would be even better. Now, if he's your starter, then I would advise to give him Ice Bomb. That's very important. Ice Bomb is a must on Classic Liu Kang when he starts the game, because probably the only bad thing that can happen to him is to get stunned and killed in the process. So the Ice Bomb makes sure that Classic Liu Kang won't get stunned, because he's going to freeze the enemy circle of Shadow Liu Kang. Another thing that you can give him is a Devastator or the Rat Hammer. Both will work perfectly fine on him. Shao Kahn helmet as an armor and the red headband as accessory. Now, if Liu Kang is not your starter, guys, then you can probably keep the same items, but you have to get rid of the Devastator. You don't really need the Devastator. Instead of that, and of course you don't need the Ice Bomb, instead of those two items you can use any other item. For example, Bloody Tomahawk, you can use Bloody Voodoo Doll, and so on and so on. And now there is another thing that I want to mention. When you are fighting with Liu Kang in difficult towers, such as for example Lin Kuei Tower, and especially against bosses, there is one item that is extremely good for Liu Kang. This item is called Kuai Liang Scepter. Yeah, I know, it is designed for Sub-Zero, but it works extremely well for Liu Kang Special too, and it works very nice with the Ice Bomb. What I mean is, if Liu Kang is not your starter, then give the Ice Bomb to whoever your opener is, then don't do anything. Once the match starts, you have to tag out your starter, tag in Liu Kang, and immediately follow both Special 2. Thus, especially if you have the Kuai Liang Scepter on High Fusion, you can guarantee a lethal blow, which will be absolutely devastating, especially if you have certain towers gear. For example, you are seeing I'm using the same tactics in the Black Dragon Tower, and my Special 2 of Liu Kang deals 1.1 million damage. That's extremely nice, because Liu Kang Special 2 in his human form consists of only one mini hit, thus the Kuai Liang Scepter works perfectly fine on it once the enemy is frozen. Okay guys, we got to the teams. Now I'm going to be very short here. Classic Liu Kang is probably the best character in the game when it comes to being versatile, when it comes to fitting numerous teams. He is actually the best character out there. So this means you can put him in absolutely any team with absolutely any other characters, random characters, doesn't matter, and he will be extremely useful. However, if you team him up with Hellspawn Scorpion and whoever other martial artist, this is by far the strongest duo in the game. Hellspawn Scorpion plus Liu Kang. The third character doesn't really matter. If you have Classic Raiden, great. If you have MK11 Sub-Zero or Cold War Sub-Zero or MK11 Scorpion, it doesn't really matter. Those two guys form an amazing team. The third guy in the team is just a bonus. Okay guys, Classic Liu Kang, what do you think of him? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Please let me know in the comments. Once again, he scored 95 points sharp, and we labeled him as a perfect character, our new champion. As usual guys, if you want to see more reviews, you can find the playlist on the top right corner of the screen, and if you want to know which is the next on-demand review coming in next week, you can find it in the description of this video. See you next time guys, take care and stay safe.
I'm simply too fast. Impressive.
Perfect.